Why do you think now is the moment that Galena is suddenly willing to talk?
Well, because it's her only chance to get out of jail. The way things would have worked when she was initially charged by the Southern District of New York, where I worked as a prosecutor for 10 years, is she would have been afforded the opportunity to cooperate at that time, which could have reduced her sentence. But she would have had to tell the prosecutors absolutely every bad deed she ever did, including more than what she was charged with. And sometimes people just choose not to reveal more than what they're charged with, figuring that that could be worse for them. So it's not as if she never had an opportunity. She did. But now she wants to speak, of course, because her only chance of getting out of jail is a pardon from Donald Trump. And so the Deputy Attorney General, who would never spend 2 days with any defendant, is doing an end run around the prosecutors who know the facts of the case and going and doing an interview with her. When he doesn't know the facts of the case, he can't possibly know the facts of the case. He doesn't know the evidence. And basically, it's all a charade so that they can say, oh, she gave us relevant information that doesn't include Donald Trump, and we're going to give her a pardon for her help.
Yeah, totally. I don't know if you're getting this, but there's a lot of people on the right saying, oh, I bet such and such Democrat is on the list. Like, as if that's going to deter us from wanting these documents released.
Yeah, you also hear all the time, oh, well, the Democrats had 4 years when they could have released the Epstein files. Why didn't they release it? Well, the Democrats under the Joe Biden administration followed the law and followed the policies and procedures of the Department of Justice. And there's no reason legally why the Epstein files should be released. And there's none of the conspiracy theories that have been drummed up by the far right are shared by the Democrats. So no Democrats asked for it. But the reason why now it's clearly relevant is not so much because we think the conspiracy theories may have some truth. Of course they don't. But there are really 2 reasons. One, it's a cover-up. It is a clear cover-up by Donald Trump. And Elon Musk said it, and now we've gotten reporting that Trump is in the Epstein files. And all of a sudden, he went from wanting to release them to not wanting to release them. It's obviously a cover-up. But the second thing is, this was one of the biggest conspiracy theories peddled by the MAGA right. And I, for one, think it's really important that the MAGA right realize that these conspiracy theories are BS, are totally bogus. Because it's not just this one, it's all of them. And they need to learn that these conspiracy theories that they believe and that they're told to believe and that gin them up so much are all just made up. And this is a prime example that they can learn that lesson from.
It's really sad that somebody they trust is lying to them. I mean, I'm grateful that this is all coming out in the light, hopefully. But some of these Republicans are calling the subpoena political theater. And I don't know. I don't think transparency in a sex trafficking case is political.
I think it's especially bigger than that if the President of the United States was somehow involved. I am very sympathetic to, private individuals being exposed and being associated with Jeffrey Epstein if they ultimately were not charged and ultimately did nothing illegal and they can't defend themselves. I mean, that is a legitimate concern. But when the President of the United States may or may not have been involved in a massive child sex trafficking ring, the American public has a right to know that, and especially from an administration that claims it's the most transparent ever. Well, let's see how transparent you are. Let's see what role the President of the United States had in this massive, horrific sex trafficking ring.
Not only transparency, but they're always talking about family first, pro-family, pro-life, pro-children, and it's like, it's time to put your money where your mouth is a little bit. I mean, I'm a little concerned that Republicans would rather shut down Congress than let this truth come out. How concerned do you think we should be?
Well, that should tell you a lot, right? Normally Donald Trump has total control over the Republicans in Congress and his MAGA base. This is a little different because he has tried in many, many different ways to force his base to move on and move along to something else. And really, for the first time that I can remember, certainly to this degree, they are all saying no, and including Republican members of Congress. But, Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, who is essentially Donald Trump's whipping boy at this point, heeded Donald Trump's call to refuse to release the Epstein files and refuse to order the release of the Epstein files through a congressional act, and decided that instead of doing the people's business, instead of actually passing laws, he is just going to shut down Congress for the whole summer to avoid having to release the Epstein files. Now, that should tell you everything you need to know. That is how serious this is to Donald Trump and therefore to Mike Johnson. And it begs the question over and over and over again, what are they hiding?
And pointing all of that out is so critical. Like you said, not only is this conspiracy theory totally bogus, but they all are.